Airbnb. Now what is that? And is it good for me? In this show, I'll tell you why it's where you'll want to be. Welcome back to My Travel Window, the channel that helps you start traveling earlier, travel longer, experience travel more deeply, and go further. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Airbnbs, what they are, and the 5 reasons why you might find it helpful to include an Airbnb in your next travel plans. Stay to the end and see the story behind this Airbnb picture. There are a whole host of choices for lodging when you travel. I won't address the option of staying for free with family or friends, or the unfortunate event of an unplanned overnight stay in an airport. And there are a few types of lodging we've never done, ranging from lower-end hostels to top-of-the-line all-inclusive destination resorts. But I can think of at least 7 different types where we have some travel experience. 1. Camping in tents or rustic cabins. 2. RVs. 3. Hotels. 4. Bed and breakfasts. 5. Airbnb, sometimes known as vacation rentals by owner or pensions. Cruise ships. 6. And 7. Home exchanges. When I took an online photography class, the subject came up as to how to choose the best camera. The instructor's answer to which is the best camera? The one you have with you. And of course, if you have several cameras with you, which I usually do when traveling, the answer is the one best suited to that situation. This is exactly how we view places to stay. Instead of limiting ourselves to one option like hotels, we pick and choose among the best available for that situation. On our last trip to Europe, for example, we spent 10 nights in hotels, 12 nights aboard ship, 21 nights in Airbnbs. The trip before that, we had 11 nights in Airbnbs and 5 in a hotel. The ratio of roughly 2 nights in an Airbnb for every 1 spent in a hotel may surprise a lot of people, and it's a ratio that's climbed as we gain more experience. So my goal in this video is to give the pros of an Airbnb. Why has this become our go-to option, and why will we continue to look here first for future trips? The next video in the series will give you the cons of Airbnb and how to minimize them. First, let me explain what I mean by Airbnb. This is a lodging rented by a private individual. It can be a room, an apartment, or an entire house. The practice was common in Europe long before the digital age, where they were often called pensions. Companies like Airbnb or vrbo.com, which stands for Vacation Rentals by Owner, are simply booking services which allow these locations to be found and rentals arranged in a common format. Historically, pensions included options for meals, but Airbnbs generally offer little or no food as part of the exchange. Our experiences in Europe have all been through Airbnb.com. In our experience, which now covers lodging in a dozen cities in 5 countries, there are 5 huge advantages to Airbnbs over hotels. 1. Value. 2. Location. 3. Local help. 4. Deeper experience. And 5. Amenities. Let's take these one at a time. Value. This is a combination of features and price. In general, a mid-range Airbnb will cost less than a mid-range hotel in the same area, but the range is wide. This morning I did a search of 3-star London hotels for a stay the first days in June, picking the Kensington neighborhood. The median price, as you can see here, is right around $150 per night, maybe a little more. The same search on Airbnb shows a median more like $100. Please be warned, however, neither of these 2 numbers is the final price. Hotels collect lodging taxes, Airbnbs have cleaning fees, but in general we found the differences to be well worth considering. Airbnbs will also offer access to many things not available in a hotel. Kitchens, washing machines, more space. The additional value begins to add more significantly with longer trips. a savings of $50 a night for a 2-night stay is meaningful. For 20 nights, it becomes significant. This is a main reason we've gone to more Airbnb stays as our trips have become longer. 2. Location. Most cities, particularly in Europe, have a modern downtown and an old town, which could be medieval, as in the case of Florence, or ancient, as in the case of Rome or Athens. These are the places generally we want to tour. What we've discovered is that the most of these old towns are very walkable. But hotels are generally aligned geographically to the transportation system, not the historical sites. They're near the modern downtown or airports or major highways. Airbnbs, on the other hand, are located where the people live. Sometimes the hotels are prohibited from being in tourist regions. In the famous fishing villages of Cinque Terre, Italy, only one of the 5 villages has any significant hotel presence. Often the most charming part of the village is experienced after the crowds leave for the day. If you stay in a hotel, you miss that. In Cinque Terre, staying in an Airbnb allowed us to experience sights like the ones you see here, which would have been impossible had we stayed in a hotel. In Venice, we were 1 block from the Rialto Bridge and the world-famous Rialto Fish Market. In Florence, we were a block from Ponte Vecchio and the famous Uffizi Gallery, and a 10-minute walk from the Duomo. 3. Local help. Think of this like you would a school. A top-notch public school will have a good teacher ready to help you learn what you need to know. In the same vein, a quality hotel will have a concierge service that can assist you in the local area. Compare that to a one-on-one tutor who knows you personally. Before we check into an Airbnb, the financial arrangements are already settled, the host knows who we are. If they're a good host, they'll give you hints as to how to find places to eat, have materials waiting for you, including maps of the area, suggested places, and how to find transportation. And in most cases, you're their only client for the duration. Yes, there is a difference in professionalism sometimes. But generally, I prefer a warm, motivated host to a polished professional looking to dispatch my questions and get on to other guests. Before we finish, let me invite you to subscribe and hit the like button. This doesn't obligate you to anything, but it tells YouTube people appreciate the information and gets us in front of more viewers. Thank you for the help. 4. Deeper experience. The local help aspect leads naturally into this advantage. Italians rarely ever have clothes dryers, they use the sun. So when we stayed in Rio Maggiore, we noticed many of the apartments around us hanging clothes out to dry. We likewise washed out a few essentials in the sink and called our host to ask if it would be okay for us to hang out some socks. Of course, he said. You'll find the clothespins in a bag under the kitchen sink. My wife was thrilled at this small aspect of being able to live like a local. Something like this happened in every B&B. We met our hostess's mother in Venice. We got a ride to the train station in Garda. Our host offered to print boarding passes for us in Austria. We learned about the family life of our host in Cornelia. Sometimes things like that can happen in a hotel, but the connection is rarely the same. 5 and last, amenities. Some amenities are worth more than others. While a hotel may offer you a king-size bed and an extra set of guest towels, we see a greater value in a place that offers a washing machine. In fact, this became the deciding factor in choosing 2 of the places to stay on our last trip. When you travel light, the ability to wash up everything at once is a huge asset. Once we've settled on location, we look for kitchens, balconies, washing machines, transportation, and elevators. And we look specifically for good hosts with a great track record. Next time, we'll address what to look out for and when not to use an Airbnb. As promised, the story of this picture. This is the sunrise over the small Italian village of Cornelia. With a population of only 150 and building codes designed to preserve the 400-year-old structures, Cornelia doesn't have hotels, but it does have a robust market for private room rentals. We chose this one, which was smaller than any hotel room we have ever rented. But the redeeming features were the location, the hostess who personally met us and walked us to the place, then included breakfast every morning, and this balcony where we could observe sunrise and sunsets every day. An Airbnb is the only way you'll experience this in Cornelia, one of the high points of our entire trip. Oh, and did I say the cost, breakfast included, was $85 a night? Next time, the negatives of Airbnb and how to minimize them. Until then, happy travels.